Morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary and to all who are joining us online. We begin our service with a musical prelude from special guest musician Riley Griffith. Riley, thank you. Welcome, friends, to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Reverend Tim Temerson. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm pleased to be weaving worship this morning with my colleague, Reverend Leah Derlin-Jones, music director Scott DeVoe, accompanist John Mayhood, the UUCville Choir, and the Children's Choir. My gosh, there's a cast of thousands today. The sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on the homeland of the Monacan people and was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering. I now invite us to take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute and say hello, and those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Good morning, it's Estelle.
Good morning, this is Carolyn.
Good morning.
Good morning, it's Kasha.
We offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. Feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs, which are for visitors, and we encourage you to stop by the connection table near the monitor in the social hall. Seating is also available in the hall during the service where there is a live stream going on. Everyone is welcome here, of course, but if you need a roomier space, the social hall can be a good option. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship both here and online, our greeters, ushers, hospitality and logistics team, the fabulous Rachel Buckland supporting the dual platform worship both online and here on Rugby Road. And now we have a greeting from board member, and I'm gonna say proud papa, John Griffith.
Thank you. Yes, I'm John Griffith. Is it on? Hello? Okay, there we go. I'm John Griffith, a member of your Board of Trustees. My pronouns are he and him. I'm also the board liaison to the nominating committee. The nominating committee is charged with finding people to be members of the board and committees. In addition to knowing that I'm helping UU-Seville stay healthy and think about the future and serve our congregation and community, I have found these experiences to be spiritually rewarding. I've gotten to connect deeply with others and experience intentional kindness and compassion that one fellow board member called practice for the real world. We are currently looking for people who are interested in serving, starting this coming June, I think. We need people on the board, the nominating committee, likely some other committees. We are also looking for someone to help co-lead next year's pledge drive. If you have any interest in serving on the board or committees, please contact me. If you are in the sanctuary today, come and see me after the service. I'll be in the social hall, and welcome.
Great. I have several announcements this morning. As you can see, today is a food sharing Sunday, and we thank everyone who donated items. Anyone who would like to take food home with them is welcome to stay here in the sanctuary after the service and select items. Due to a rainy forecast, unfortunately, our winter solstice lantern walk, which was scheduled for later today at 4:30, has been canceled. The good news is that we will have the cider that was going to be consumed at the winter solstice lantern walk after the service in the social hall. Next Sunday is Christmas Eve. UU-Seville will offer 2 Christmas Eve services with a family-friendly nativity at 4:30 and a candlelight service at 7 o'clock. Please join us for one or both services. Because Christmas Eve is on a Sunday this year, please know that there will be no Sunday morning service here next Sunday. So if you show up at 11 o'clock, it will be kind of quiet around here, but boy, it'll be humming at 4:30 and 7. So next Sunday we have the 2 services at 4:30 and 7. And then an announcement, the Women's Spirit Winter Solstice Ritual is this Thursday. This is from Bonnie Hansen. This Thursday at 6:30 in the lower hall. Come and celebrate Yule. All are welcome to join us for refreshments and conversation in the social hall following the service.
The words for our call to worship this morning are from Sherry Woodbury. To all who are yearning for community.
Come in, be among us.
To all who are just getting started, who long to go deeper. To all with tender places needing care.
Come in, be among us.
To the ones who have healed and have care to give. For those who are curious and hungry to learn. For those who know that they have something to teach.
Come in, be among us.
For the ones who are just beginning to understand that they might nurture others' becoming. To the young, to the old, the innocent and the jaded, the fresh of mind and the deeply steeped. There is room here for each and every one.
Come in, be among us.
As we honor and prepare for the coming winter solstice this Thursday, we will now call the 4 directions. Bonnie Hansen will light the candles for us. We start by lighting the yellow candle for the east. Powers of air, step forth from the darkness. Enter our circle as dark gives way to light. Bring along with you the essence of pine trees. Remind us of springtime as we face solstice night.
Next, we light the red candle for the south. Powers of fire, step forth from the darkness. Enter our circle as dark gives way to light. Bring along with you the first glint of tomorrow. Remind us of summer as we face solstice night.
Next, we light the blue candle for the west. Powers of water, step forth from the darkness. Enter our circle as dark gives way to light. Bring along with you bittersweet memories that remind us of autumn as we face solstice night.
And finally, the green candle for the north. Powers of earth, step forth from the darkness. Enter our circle as dark gives way to light. Bring along with you the land that now slumbers. Remind us of winter and the cold solstice night.
Blessed be.
I would now like to invite Lillian and Ariana to come forward. I think I see them. There they come. To light our flaming chalice. And let's join together in saying our unison chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and need, in celebration of the life we share together. And now let's say our words with our hand motions.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts.
Thank you, Lillian and Ariana. Now I'd like to invite you to rise in body or spirit. Let's join in singing one verse from hymn number 73, Chant for the Seasons. We're going to sing about winter. And for this verse, let's sing it through twice. So please rise.
Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Play the windy storms, cold upon their cheeks, the wet rain glistens, glistens. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Leaping is the fire, golden at the doors, the cider glows like amber. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us.
That's a beautiful hymn, and we got it. So, as most of you know, we've been spending this month of December exploring the ministry theme of the gifts of mystery. And that's been a nice way for us to think each month or each week about the different things that we are thankful for, the different gifts. And so today we want to spend just a few minutes talking about or exploring together the idea of the gifts of the season. So think about that, our theme of the gifts of mystery. And here we are today thinking about the gifts of the season. So as you think about that, what comes into your heart or your mind? What are some of the gifts of the season that speak to you? If you want, you can raise your hand and I'll invite you to share. Yeah, Catherine.
Quiet reflection.
Catherine says quiet reflection as a gift of the season. Yeah, Nancy.
Late sunrise.
Late sunrise. Other thoughts about the gift or the gifts of this season? Yeah, Jane. Snow. Yeah, some of us I know are waiting and watching anxiously for that and saying, rain? How about snow? And others of us are saying, rain, not snow. Other gifts. Ellie. Fire in the fireplace, yes, as we just sang about. I saw another hand over here.
Oh, I was going to say lighting candles in the dark.
Lighting candles in the darkness, yeah. Cindy.
Christmas cactus.
Flowering Christmas cactus, definitely a gift of the season. Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope that you'll continue to reflect on this question about what the gifts of the season are for you. And perhaps you can use this as a start for a conversation with someone in the social hall this morning as we enjoy our cider together. Ask those around, what are the gifts that you're experiencing or anticipating or hoping for this season? What are you celebrating this season? And find out from others in our community what's coming up for them, what they're looking forward to. I'll mention just a few that came to mind as Tim and I were reflecting on this. We were talking about the gifts of both darkness and light, and noticing the gifts that can come in the dark. Today in our service, we have gifts of both time to be quiet together and times to sing and to be sung too. So the gifts of music today as we feature the music ministry of our congregation. The gifts of sharing in community, of sharing food with one another, of sharing friendship, of sharing time. And one of the things that I really cherish about the winter solstice is that it is something, no matter our beliefs, no matter our differences, no matter, it is something we all can share. We all share the winter solstice. It impacts all of us, whether we're paying close attention to it or not. It is something that we all share. Here in this congregation, in this city, in the Northern Hemisphere, we are sharing winter solstice with all the other beings, human and beyond human, other than human. We all share the gift of winter solstice with one another. And perhaps the largest gift, the most wonderful gift of the season that we all share is the gift of love. And our choir is going to sing to us about that now.
Thank you, choir. Can I just say, wow? Phew, fantastic. Yes, thank you. So our reading this morning comes from my colleague, the Reverend Gary Kowalski, and it's simply called Solstice. Night has its own kind of beauty, different than the beauty of day. Night is a time of sleep and dreams and inward visions, a time of pause within activity. Darkness is an invitation to imagining and storytelling, and to using all of our senses instead of just eyes to listen to the world in its stillness. Darkness is the den of life in germination, and darkness is the portal of death that opens to eternity. The mystery of all time past and endless time to come. At the center of our being, there is light and there is darkness, the known and the unknown, the named and the nameless, the finite and the infinite. Light and dark are different, but they are not opposed to each other. Like parents, they are friends with one another and friends with us. Words from Gary Kowalski.
Let us join now in a time of centering. I invite you to drop into your own body. You might want to close your eyes and simply notice your breath, your own breathing. And notice the beating of your tender heart. If you like, place your hands on your heart and rest them there as you breathe in and out. In and out. Feeling yourself surrounded by the love and care of this community and the larger love that holds us all. Breathe in peace. Breathe out love. And send love to those both near and far who are sad or suffering. Send love to people you know and to people in our wider human family around the globe who are struggling. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. Love. Peace. And take this love into yourself, supporting you, sustaining you, comforting you like a soft blanket. And breathe out peace to those near and far. Where there is war, may the fighting cease. Where there is fear, may there be ease. May peace prevail on earth. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. And gently bring yourself back to this present moment. We are an interconnected community that cares for one another. And part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts. I want to also thank everyone who brought fresh foods and cleaning supplies for those in our congregation whose budgets are tight. And here they are before us this morning. Anyone who would like is welcome to stay in the sanctuary after the service today and choose items to take home. And let us now together bless the bounty before us, gifts that we have shared from one another, for one another. You're invited to remain seated as we sing our blessing, hymn number 402. We will sing it through twice. It's one many of you know, From You I Receive.
Eve to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you
We now invite you to come forward to place a glass stone in the water to symbolize the joys and sorrows of your life. Those online may type their joys or sorrows into the chat box. Cindy Benton Groner from our pastoral care team will be present to offer support this morning. She will be available for a few minutes at the back of the sanctuary here to talk with anyone who would like a listening ear. And those online who might seek support can send an email to pastoral@uucharlottesville.org. You are invited to come forward for our ritual of joys and sorrows now.
This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts, and another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and this congregation. The social action collection for the month of December is for this congregation's meal packet program. This is the 14th year that UU Charlottesville has operated our hospital meal packet ministry, and we've donated over 7,000 meals to the University of Virginia Medical Center. Thanks as always to Michael and Margaret Gorman for their incredible leadership. So we ask that you give generously to the meal packet program. Rachel, will you please show us the social action slide for giving? In addition to giving online, if you'd like to give today with cash or check, please use one of the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place them in the offering plate when they come around. Along with our social action collection each week, we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of our congregation. Your pledges and weekly Sunday morning offering together are financial gifts, support and sustain our congregation. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering by using the text address or going to our website, or here in the sanctuary, you can put cash or checks in the collection plates. And now let us dedicate all of the many gifts we share with one another by saying, we accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good.
Our story this morning is adapted from a story by Christina Leona Tracy entitled The Goddess and the Redbird. And we chose it for our story this morning because we thought it was a good story to help us all think about this time of year. A long, long time ago, when the earth was young, she would play all day with the sun. The sun was young too, you see, and they had lots of energy, probably like many of us here. The earth had many names. Some called her goddess, or the maiden, or sister. Nobody called her grandmother yet. She was too young for that. The sun god was bold, hardly ever sleeping, rising so early and warming the earth day after day after day. The two played together with wild, rollicking joy. But of course, as the earth goddess grew up, she knew that there was work to do. So she would get up early with the sun and go about her work, blooming flowers, helping the trees grow big and strong, helping weave nests and dig burrows for all the animal friends. One of the goddess' best friends was a cardinal. a bright red bird who loved to play with the goddess and the sun god, joining their games and helping with their work.
The cardinal loved to sing. He would sing his heart out when the sun god got up in the morning, and again when the sun god was settling down for bed at night. But as the goddess Earth and the sun god grew older, the cardinal noticed that they were settling down a bit, slowing down a bit, you might say. And the cardinal realized that he too wanted to settle down and maybe find someone to love and cherish. So he sang his song, and sometimes the goddess would hold him on her finger and sing back to him. The earth and the sun fell in love, and soon so did the red bird with another cardinal, whose color was not as brilliant as his bright red plumage, but to his eyes, she was brighter than the sun himself.
The cardinal and his mate sang together. They created a nest together, and soon eggs appeared in the nest, followed not long after by little hatchlings. The baby birds were so cute. The goddess Earth came to admire them, and she brought gifts of a juicy caterpillar for each one to open with their little beak. The trees were lush with leaves, and the air was warm with the sun's light, and all was well. But the cardinal began to realize that the goddess seemed more tired. Her belly was growing bigger, and he soon realized that she was going to have a baby. But the sun god, though he loved the earth, was also slowing down. It seemed that he had aged many years overnight.
The cardinal began to worry about his beloved friends. He would sing to them like before, in the morning and again in the evening. But with the sun getting more and more tired, it seemed his songs were getting closer and closer together, and the dark sky with Grandmother Moon was lasting longer and longer. The cardinal would bring gifts to the goddess, who sometimes rested on piles of leaves that had begun to fall from the trees. He would bring a nut or some seeds, a fluffy flower or red feather from his wing, trying to encourage her to run and play and work all day like she did in the early days.
"Don't worry, little friend," the goddess said to the cardinal as she snuggled herself deeper in a blanket of mossy leaves. "There's nothing wrong. We can't run and frolic and play and work nonstop. We just can't. It can't possibly last forever without a break. Sometimes we have to just let go and rest."
Let us all pause for a moment of rest now as we listen to a solstice anthem from our choir. Our story will continue following the music.
The piece that we're going to perform is called The Longest Night by Jason Shelton. And the soloist is the same soloist you heard at the beginning of How Sweet Is Love, Georgina Todd.
It was
And so we return to our story with the concerned cardinal and the tired goddess, and the oh so quickly aging sun, who can't stay up in the sky for very long anymore.
Don't worry, little friend, the goddess had said to the cardinal as she snuggled herself deeper into the blanket of mossy leaves. There's nothing wrong. We can't run and frolic and play and work nonstop. It can't be possible for us to do that forever without a break. Sometimes we just have to let go and rest.
Despite her reassurance, the cardinal was a little worried. It was all fine and good for the goddess Earth and the sun god to rest all day, but the air was getting cold and the leaves were falling off the trees. The bugs and the nuts and fruits were becoming scarce. As he flitted around, worrying and hoping, gathering whatever he could find to eat and stay warm, as the sky grew darker and darker, the goddess came to him and his partner. His babies had all flown off on their own by now, but they still shared a life together, he and his beautiful brown love. The goddess's arms were full of fluffy green piles. You almost couldn't see the top of her head.
These are for you. And she set them down on the ground. And to his surprise, the cardinal realized that they were trees, big ones. How had she carried them? Who knows? She's a goddess after all. And while all the other trees had lost their large flat leaves, these trees were full of lush green needles. We call them evergreens, and they'll stay green for you and help keep you warm when the sun god cannot provide his light for a while, she said. Just nestle in the branches and remember the promise that the green will return.
She smiled, a sort of sad smile. The sun god was aging rapidly now. The cardinal knew this, and the rumor throughout the forest was that he was dying. How will the green return? I know it's hard to talk about, Mother Earth, but we all know the truth. The sun is dying, isn't he?
This time the goddess smiled again, a sweeter smile, more filled with the kind of gentle joy, and she rubbed her belly. Yes, little bird, he is. But that is the sacred cycle of life. He will die and return to the earth, and then again, the sun will be reborn. It will take time for the new baby sun to grow and bring back the warmth and the green, but he will grow, and he will play and frolic and work, and you'll see, little friend, you'll see.
And so, as the forest was blanketed with thick snow, the cardinal and his partner nestled deep in the branches of the evergreen trees, and they ate what they could find, and they fluffed up their feathers for warmth and stayed very still in the long winter night, remembering the busy, hectic, playful days gone by, and realizing that it felt nice to just slow down, to see the stars, to sing, and to snuggle.
And when it seemed like it couldn't get any darker, word spread throughout the forest. The sun god has died. Cardinal was sad, but he trusted what the goddess Earth had said, that it was part of the cycle. He decided to go and pay a visit to his friend, the goddess, and so he left the safety and the warmth of his evergreen tree and flew to her home, where he found her resting under piles of silvery blankets. Were they furs or clouds? Who knows? She's a goddess after all.
Her eyes were closed, but he knew something was changing. She was breathing deeply in a way he had never seen before. He offered his help, but she shook her head. It's okay, little friend. It's all part of the cycle. And so he sang to her, and he brought her pine cones and snowflakes, and he and his partner flew to the sky and brought back starlight and wrapped the trees around her home with glittering, sparkling lights. And then when they had waited and waited, they heard the sound of a baby's cry, and they knew the sun had returned.
And so ends our story. Just like so many stories told this time of year, our story is full of love and hope and care and magic and mystery. It reminds us of our human need to make sense of the seasons and to be aware of our connection to the cycles of life. As we each see cardinals in the trees around us, as we each notice the dark of night around us, let us remember this story and the need to rest during the winter months, so that like the earth goddess and the sun god, we too may be ready to welcome new growth in ourselves and the world around us when it is springtime again. And now I invite our children's choir to come forth so that we may sing in joy with them as one of our gifts this season.
No, whether you know that Jingle Bells has a Unitarian background. It was written by James Lord Pierpont. His father, John Pierpont, was an abolitionist minister in Medford, Massachusetts, and his brother, John Pierpont Jr., was a minister at the church in Savannah, Georgia. James Lord Pierpont was a Unitarian. He was not a minister. In fact, he was apparently something of, well, he was an artiste. He also went out to California during the gold rush, came back and settled in Savannah. And there, supposedly, he wrote Jingle Bells. Clearly, it's not exactly a Savannah kind of song. It's obviously reminiscent of his youth in Medford, Massachusetts. And in fact, those two cities compete to say they're the place that inspired Jingle Bells. I've been to the church in Savannah, and there is a plaque outside making its own claim. Whatever, but you know, it's an interesting song, and we're going to sing all the verses of it, which give you some of the humor as well as some of the peculiar 19th century sensibility of the song. But our children's choir is going to be here to sing the verses. We also have as accompaniment Riley Griffith again on ukulele, and Debbie Norton, who is our ukulele queen. So let us start. Dashing through the snow, everyone can join in. Horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bride was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lame, misfortune seemed his lot. We got into a drifted bank, and then we got upside. Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one
children's choir. I don't know, we may be the only Unitarian Universalist church that has ukulele accompaniment for our children's choir. I just think that's pretty cool. As Reverend Tim extinguishes our chalice, I offer these words of benediction. They come from Victoria Erickson. The edge of the solstice, the barren darkness, the wheel. Nature knows that every cycle must return to stillness and silence, that every inhale has an exhale, that every ending births a beginning, that the light always returns to a future beyond imagination. As we go forth from this time together, embrace the dark and rest in it, so that you may be ready to welcome the returning light when you are ready. Go in peace and love. Blessed be.